Hello, friends. How are you today? Welcome back. I'll give you more information about the cryptocurrencies around. I believe, like I said in my last videos and in my one of my recent posts on Twitter, I told you that I believe we are getting close to the bottom. Some coins are going to bottom sooner than others. Others will take more time. But like I said before, I believe my estimations, my projection dates are around May, mid-May. Possibly going, we are going to see a sharp drop. It's possibly going to be the final leg down before the actual bottom. Then around July or June, I believe most coins will start to bottom, and then October and late September could be the final definitive dates for an actual bottom. Okay, I will be very surprised if Bitcoin, for example, has not bottomed by then. Okay, I really don't think it's going to take more time. So just basically take a look at those months. Okay, May, June, or July, and basically the transition between September to October. Okay, now let's take a look at the current price action. So we're going to see that Bitcoin has reached a higher high. The highest position so far on April has been reached on the 11th. Now, this is obviously very bullish. Okay, the entire structure is bullish because we can see, like I was saying, these are higher highs, lower, higher lows. So the structure for Bitcoin and Ethereum is bullish. Not so much for Solana. We're going to take a look at Solana in a very short, in some seconds. But I want to show you the Bitcoin structure. And not only that, you can also see that the indicator, the one that can predict the future, is actually telling me that there could be a very high chance for a reversal around the 15, 14 of April. And other days could be also significant, maybe the 18 and also the 17. We'll have to take a look at this. Obviously, this means that because we are going down right now, these reversals are going to be longs. Okay, it could actually be very volatile. So maybe a long around the 14 or 15, followed by a short around the 17. Okay, who knows? We'll have to see how the price action does, how goes, because what ideally we want to see is for good levels to actually be reached. So this was a very good level for a short. As you can see, it was a major resistance. And for supports, maybe on Bitcoin, I'm mostly looking at this area right here. So this area is actually also very close to one of the levels that my other indicator is printing, and this is obviously on 10 hours. So this is a higher time frame than most people who use either 1 hour or 2 hours. This level on Bitcoin could actually be the lowest point that I can see it. If it keeps going down, which I think it will for at least a couple days more, this could be the highest position that it can reach. I mean, the lowest position that it can reach. Okay. Uh, to see it go below this area will kind of invalidate this structure. It can happen, but right now, I believe it's bullish. Okay. Now, for Solana, like I was saying, Solana is not the same as Bitcoin. Solana, as you can see, does not look even remotely as bullish as Bitcoin. On Solana, the highest position was actually reached on the 7th. All other days were basically kind of in range. And this position is still very far from the actual high on March, which was 97. And even intermediate points like 92, 93 is still very far. It didn't even reach 88, which was like the very first resistance to form in this entire range structure. So Solana very disappointing in that regard. That means Solana, I believe, has the most potential for mostly shorts. Longs will also benefit, but you can see that I believe I wouldn't really short Bitcoin right now, or even Ethereum. Maybe Ethereum with kind of a well, Ethereum is actually doing good as Bitcoin, but Ethereum is kind of an anomaly right now. I have already talked about that in previous days, in previous videos, because Ethereum has not even reached the low of the last year. So it's still very far from that point, which it actually looks extremely rare because I have never seen that pattern before. Where the actual low of the cycle in Ethereum's case, and only in Ethereum's case, could actually be before the all-time high. It's usually after the all-time high, which is very insane. Now, on Solana, like I told you, and this is a signal that I made days ago, even weeks ago. All of these long and short signals have been actually extremely profitable. I told you to long the second, I told you to short the 5th of April, then I told you to long again around the 7th. And all of these movements have been extremely accurate, 100%, no failure right there. And you could have made a lot of money, or at least decent money, if you have followed all only these three trades. Okay. Now for the next signal, I'm talking about a long around the 14 to or 18. The indicator, like I said, prints a potential reversal around the 14, so this agrees with my prediction. If that does play out, we're going to see a long around this area. Maybe the price will go down. In Solana's case, I believe it can go maybe slightly below 80 at most. I don't really see it going below, for example, all the way down to 70. It could happen, but well, actually, with Solana, it can be reasonable to think that this could be likely in the worst case scenario because Solana, like I said, is bearish. Solana doesn't really look bullish. Now, on Ethereum, we're going to see kind of the same days, 40